Oh
You
yeah,
when
this
you
is my hero Larry David. Pretty good.
We are joined by Matt Merewitz today, publicist, manager, all around music dude extraordinaire. I'm really happy to have you today on the listening room, Matt.
Thanks, David. I'm really excited to be here.
I really enjoyed the playlist you put together, and I really want to dive in to some of those tracks. But I first was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm from the DC area. I'm from Maryland. I came up to well, I went to college in Pittsburgh, and then I got a job in Philadelphia working for this guy named Don Lukoff, who's a prominent jazz publicist. I worked for him for 3 years. While I was working for him, I kind of, was learning the ropes of PR, traditional PR. And back then we were doing like MP3 blogs, like Stereo Gum, before it was like a major website, and like Gorilla versus Bear and Brooklyn Vegan. And I got into the business through doing college radio at WRCT in Pittsburgh, which is at Carnegie Mellon University, an amazing record library, both CDs and vinyl. I really got a massive, broad music education there, in addition to when I was a student in DC area playing saxophone. So yeah, I've been doing PR, marketing, and I added management to the mix in about 20, 2022, 2023. I manage a few artists. I manage the pianist Myra Melford, the trumpeter Adam O'Farrell, the vibraphone player Simon Moulier, and the gayakam player Toyeon Kim, who is a zither player from Korea, and she just put out her debut record as a solo artist this spring. So very busy booking, doing all kinds of stuff. Um, but yeah, a lot of my time is spent listening, and I'm trying to listen to my record collection, which is like sitting there, but so easy to just let sit there and stream all the time.
Do you find that in this age of algorithms, AI, all that other nonsense, that you are more inclined to listen more carefully or more intentionally, or has it had the opposite effect for you?
Recently, in the last, I would say, 6 to 8 months, after I read Liz Pelly's book, and after I started to consider kind of like how I was being driven to listen by the ways that the streaming platforms wanted me to listen, that I had this awakening, and I was like, oh wait, I need to listen the way I used to listen, which was intentionally. And I have found myself doing that more and more in the last, again, 6 to 8, maybe 12 months.
I see you started with Medina Mystique by Paul Geis.
Yeah. So Paul is a trumpet player from Philadelphia, or at least living in Philadelphia. I was totally blown away. This is like Don Cherry meets Nawa. It's this crazy project with Jamaluddin Takuma, who was, Ornette's bassist in Primetime, and this, uh, I believe she's a Danish vocalist, named Randy Pontoppidan. It's like a Moroccan. It was recorded at a Moroccan festival, and it's just like totally mystical and like kind of like it says, and kind of world jazz ish.
It's a really awesome, really awesome track. It's a strong way to start off the list for sure. I see you kind of moved forward in a more moody direction with Gabrielle with Prisoner of Love.
I was listening to this record nonstop at the end of May and the beginning of June this year of 2026, and I was just so taken with the sound on this record, and also Gabrielle's voice. I had been familiar that she had been touring with Joshua Redman all around the world, and that's kind of a big deal. Like, I don't think he'd ever had a singer in his band ever. Anyway, so she has this vibe with Jeff Parker on guitar, who I thought was an inspired choice. It just has this quality of like Joe Pass and Ella Fitzgerald on Pablo Records and in the 1970s singing standards. It's probably my favorite like kind of jazz vocal release of 2026. So if there are others, they are escaping me right now. But yeah, I'm gonna go down a bit. I'm gonna visit Simon Moulier. Simon came to me in the deep, like one of the worst times of the pandemic, early June 2020. Eventually, early this year, I became Simon's manager, and I believe in this guy more than 95% of the musicians I've interacted with of a certain age. Yeah, this guy is just like, he's from France. He went to Berkeley. He quit the drums to become a vibraphone player because he wanted to play the notes. He didn't want to play just the rhythm. I've listened to this song nonstop for 4 or 5 months now, maybe 6 months now. And of course, obviously, we've got the Sonny Rollins stuff, and you got Sonny Rollins with Horace Silver, Kenny Clark, and Percy Heath doing Doxy from the seminal Bags Groove, and then you've got all these versions of St. Thomas, obviously the original from Saxophone Colossus, and then another version from Now's the Time. There's this version from the Netherlands in Stockholm from this recording that Zev Feldman assembled. I just love the evolution of the song as he played it live, as he played it on other records, and it's like one of my favorite songs. You know, it's just a massive loss for the jazz community, but also he left us so much music that it's like such a pleasure to luxuriate in his bountiful catalog. I kind of do want to highlight, at the very least, this last track,
Yeah.
Equipoise Part 1 from Members Don't by Tyshawn Sorey, the drummer, who I've had the pleasure of representing in the past, although not on this record. But this band is insane. This is Adam O'Farrell on trumpet. This is Mark Shim on tenor sax. This is Tyrone Allen on bass. This is Lex Corton, who's the pianist from Simon Moulier, on piano, and Tyshawn on drums. And then we have Faye Victor singing the title track, Members Don't Get Wary, from the original Max Roach album on Atlantic Records. So I can't I can't say enough good things about this album. This is another album that I've had in a draft to put on my Substack notes as a review, but I haven't just I'm not happy with where I've gotten with it, and I don't want to post it until I'm happy. But I might just have to like post it and just be over it.
You mentioned your Substack. I wonder if we could take a quick detour and you just tell me a little bit more about your Substack and all of the interesting things you're doing over there.
The initial inspiration for it was kind of a series of articles by Sylvia Leach, who was the wife of the guitarist Peter Leach, who did a series of profiles. I believe it was for Jazz Times. These were a series of music industry profiles of people who were behind the scenes but were like really important to the careers of artists. And I kind of wanted to like take a approach of let's not only do clickbait, massive stars, whatever. Let's focus on the side people. So I called the Substack the side people, not just side people as in like industry side people, but also like the lesser talked about side men in jazz and women who like really have an impact in the music but aren't known as leaders. So yeah, I'm interested in these people whose lives rotate around music, but kind of don't get talked about because they're not like the star, right? They're not that person, and so whether they're industry people or they're musicians who are kind of off to the side, I really wanted to tell their stories.